Old Town Dali bursts with color and activity. Masses of tourists stroll lazily down the long streets, and vendors wait eagerly in their shops on the sidewalk, keen on transforming these tourists into customers. On one of the main streets, we stopped where a man was selling a painting of a topless Aboriginal woman. When we asked the vendor if he was the artist, he shook his head, no. He told us of an old, fragile Baidu man living near Arhai who had painted this masterpiece in the quiet and serenity of his isolated home. He was too frail to make the trip to Dali to sell his paintings himself, so this man had stepped in to do it for him. He claimed the scroll was made of sheepskin. We asked why the woman's skin was so white compared to the brown skin of the villagers in the background. The vendor replied that there was nothing cultural that dictated that the skin tones should be painted in such a way. That choice was simply dependent upon the old man's intuition.
We walked away smirking and shaking our heads, for we had become learned tourists. Not only was it easy to see that the scroll was not real sheepskin, but just that same day we had seen an almost identical painting at the farmer's market in Shizhou. White-skinned woman in the foreground, brown-skinned villagers in the background, and all. This gave us more than just a gut feeling as a reason not to buy his story entirely. We continued on. Not even a minute later, we came across a blanket covered in hand-drawn postcards, and besides it, a man sitting Indian-style, hunched over, drawing. The postcards were beautiful and intricate, with images of Chinese-style lampposts, mountains, and dwellings, sketched skillfully in black pen on their ivory cardstock. We kneeled down to examine the postcards, and the artist didn't budge. He kept at his work, entirely engrossed in his sketch. We had to work hard to get his attention to ask who had taught him to draw so well. Not surprisingly, he was self-taught. He didn't tell us much else. He just sat, entranced by his drawing and content in his own little world. His simple story of self and the beauty of the postcards were captivating. We purchased 5 postcards and let him be.
As we walked away from our experience on the streets of Dali, we had a new conception of what made an effective, authentic narrative. The postcard artist said nothing, but his mere presence and clear passion for his work told a narrative that was exceptionally captivating.
As Notar says, authentic narratives are told both by the vendor and the tourist. And as tourists, we walked away feeling as if we had found a very unique and authentic story that we've chosen to retell and remember.